In October 1962, the world's two superpowers reached the edge of a nuclear exchange. Inside command centers in the United States and the Soviet Union, radar screens tracked every movement, feeding data into vast surveillance networks. The Cold War had divided the globe into two rival camps. Thousands of nuclear weapons were fueled and ready, with both sides relying on the promise of mutually assured destruction to prevent a launch the crisis accelerated. When the Soviet Union secretly deployed nuclear missiles to Cuba, located 90 miles from the American coast, these sites placed major US cities within a flight time of only a few minutes. President John F. Kennedy responded with a naval blockade to prepare for a potential strike. Nuclear bombers remained in the air on high alert, while missile crews waited for the final order. Leaders in Washington and Moscow operated with a sense of rigid confidence. They believed every maneuver was carefully calibrated, and that their respective chains of command remained under their direct control. This sense of macro-level control was a dangerous illusion. The decision that would determine the fate of millions had already migrated away from the presidents and premiers. On the surface, while surveillance networks monitored the skies and the surface blockade, the depths of the Atlantic Ocean remained unmapped and hidden. Below the waves, a variable approached that the surface fleets could not see. The Soviet submarine B-59 was nearing the American quarantine line. Submerged and moving through the open ocean, the vessel was entirely cut off from the outside world. B-59 carried a weapon unknown to the American destroyers hunting it. A nuclear-tipped torpedo, its payload was powerful enough to vaporize the entire surrounding US naval fleet. The officers inside the hull were tasked with managing this weapon without guidance from Moscow. Their experience and judgment were the only remaining safeguards against an accidental launch. As the days passed, the communication blackout became absolute. B-59 received no intelligence or updated orders from the Kremlin, leading the crew to guess the status of the global conflict. This combination of a communications vacuum and a localized nuclear payload turned B-59 into the most dangerous, volatile point on Earth. American destroyers located B-59 and began dropping practice depth charges. The Navy intended these strictly as non-lethal warning signals to force surfacing to the crew inside the submarine. The sounds were indistinguishable from a lethal attack. Blind to the surface and feeling the shock waves vibrate through the steel hull, they believed they were being targeted for destruction. Conditions inside the submarine deteriorated rapidly. The air grew toxic,